What is going on? I want to welcome you from half court for today, Tuesday, November 1st, 2022. I am your host, Sean Murphy, and we are here for another rendition of Troy Tuesday. I'm calling this, that's what this is called now, by the way, Troy. I came up with it literally right before we recorded. I was like, we're going to call this Troy Tuesdays. So, Tuesdays with Troy, here we go. I am alongside my man, Troy Sergey. Troy, good to have you here on this beautiful Tuesday.
Great to have you here. And if you are a long time fan of From Half Court, you'll know that way back in the early stages, there's a thing called 2K Tuesday. So I'm happy Troy Tuesday replaced 2K Tuesday, and here we are.
Yeah, that was a very brief video series on this channel. I had a good 3 video run. But
Yeah.
anyway, Troy, my guy, we are here to talk about Bojan Bogdanovic, a guy that you and I have been talking quite a bit. And this is a guy that, has been very quickly, I've been talking for years about how much I've loved Bojan Bogdanovic, right? And, even in our friendship, we've talked about like, man, talk about it like a perfect guy to add on the Pistons and the value that he brings. And so far, Troy, Bojan Bogdanovic has been everything as advertised and more. And in particular, I know you've even said to me, like, you just love his brand of basketball, just like who he is as a player. So talk a little bit about that. Like, what do you like about Bojan? About like not only like what were some things you liked about him before he came to the Pistons? What are maybe some things that like you didn't expect when he came to the Pistons? And what do you think he's been doing overall for this team?
Right. Well, I'll start with the latter question of previously, and I think he was a huge part of that Utah team that was very underrated. I mean, everyone was talking about Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, but Bojan really played well in Utah. Was able to get buckets when they needed him to. Had some great shooting streaks of 3-point shooting over there, and really was a vital piece to their offense. And now that he's in Detroit, that vital piece of his offense is still the same. It's not changing. And one thing, Sean, and I'm kind of stealing this word from you because you said it in our previous podcast recording, the ability to complement our young talent. You think of a guy like Cade Cunningham, who's truly taking this team as his own. He has a spot-up shooter that he can dish the ball to in the perimeter. And he just changes our perimeter offense as well. And I think with just his ability to shoot the ball, that's the most important thing that I see that he brings to the table here. He's able to get a bucket. And with a team that in the years past, last year and the year before, struggled to get a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
So, when we talk about trade rumors and this or that already this early in the season, I want to put those to rest because here's the
Not
thing.
even rumors, by the way. Not even rumors that the Pistons are trading him because all signs have literally pointed from day one that they were going to try to extend him. It was just this thing that fans were like, "Oh, well, we got to get a first round pick back for a good veteran. Yeah. He's our good veteran." It's like, guys, let him unpack his bags first. Like, holy cow.
He makes this team better, and that is all we need at this point.
Mm-hmm. And he does it in a way that is so simple because first of all, he just gets buckets, right? Each and every night he is consistently scoring and he's going to be efficient. He's always going to be around 50% from the field. He's always going to do it in a way that he's largely not turning over the ball either. He can also create opportunities for other teammates as well. That's another thing that's underrated about him. But the ultimate thing, Detroit for a while, before this past season, we haven't had a guy where you could just reliably give him the ball and go get a bucket, right?
Right.
And we had Cade, obviously, who can go do that. But you don't really have like another guy on that team. We didn't really have another guy on our team who could go and do that. There might be few players in the league who are better on a night-to-night basis of going out and scoring at a high volume than Bojan Bogdanovic. I mean, he is consistently scoring at least 16 points a game.
And that high volume is something we need. We need consistency on our roster, and we need players who can do that on a consistent basis. And I think of, again, a guy like Cade Cunningham, Saddiq Bey, they're going to have nights where they need him to step up, right? Bojan to step up.
Well,
So
yeah, especially Ivy and Cade for sure.
right, right, especially. So I just feel like his volume. That was such a great word that you said, Sean. His volume of shooting. There's really not a ton of guys in the league that aren't all-star levels. We know the all-stars who can score at volume, but that aren't all-star level who can do it like Bojan. We got him though on our team. So again, he complements the younger talent. He's a guy. Imagine where we'd be right now. I think we'd be. I don't know where we'd be without him. What our record would be without him right now. Certainly, I don't think we would have had 2 wins. Maybe 1. I'm not sure if we'd be 0-6 right now. But it's hard to say. He brings that much energy and consistency to this team on the offensive end.
Yeah, for sure. And the big thing is going to be as well, just what he's going to be able to do. Like right now, even in the season, he's top 3 in the league already in 3-point shooting.
Right, which is
Like
amazing.
like he's up there with right now in 3 points made. He's up there with Steph Curry and Buddy Hield.
Mhm.
That's the names that he's up there with. So when you talk about going and getting a good shooter to add to your team, the Pistons went and got one of the best shooters in the NBA.
Yes. Yes.
And for him to come in and also to sign a 2-year, $39 million deal from the sounds of it, according to Omari Sankofa, from the Detroit Free Press, from the sounds of it, the second year isn't entirely guaranteed. So, Troy, the other thing this does as well, it gives them flexibility in the future,
Right.
right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And look at this next free agency class. It's great. It's fine, but it's not like, again, I think we're still in stages of we're not quite ready to get that all-star free agent that I know we all want. But it,
Well,
it
even
puts
then,
us
though,
in a
by the
position where we
way,
don't have to right away. Go ahead.
yeah, well, even then, by the way, too, you could even make the argument like we don't even know like if that all star is going to be through the trade, like through the free agency anymore. It could be through the
Right.
trade market,
Right.
right? Like we're
Right.
seeing a lot of times the ways that these like smaller market teams, like the Timberwolves, like even even like the Cavaliers, the way they went and
Mhm.
got their star is they
Yeah.
went and traded for him,
Right.
right?
Right.
Obviously, to a lesser extent when the Pistons went and did that when we got Blake Griffin,
Right.
but like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you see it, you see what I'm saying though, but like in the big piece of it, obviously at that time, Bojan not only could be a great trade piece if you're to ever have any of those types of discussions, but also if Bojan's a guy that you keep, he's a guy that's just a great role wherever you put him on the team. Because no matter what, if you're giving him a couple shots a game, if you're giving him 20 shots a game, he's going to go out and he's going to produce.
He
And
is going to produce, and we've seen it already. I mean, there's really not a game we've seen yet besides tonight. And if tonight is the worst game we can see from Bojan, I'm fine with it.
yeah, which even then, like tonight as a recording, like we're talking like through 3 quarters, Bojan's worst game is 14th points through 3 quarters, and
Right.
he's still playing really good basketball.
Mhm.
So that's the crazy thing. I think the other thing too about Bojan on the roster, to me, I feel like he's exposed a lot of the areas where I want to see Sadiq get better.
Sure,
When we
sure.
talk about like with like Bojan, one thing that's so special about him, we talk about his consistency and the ability to go do it on a night to night basis. Sadiq Bey is a player that we talk about his ability to have nights where he is explosive
Mhm.
with scoring the basketball.
Right,
I was there the other night, when they played against the Golden State Warriors, and he went out and exploded for 27, right?
right, right.
But this was after he had like 2 games or he didn't even have like double digit points,
Mhm,
right? And
mhm.
and like part of that was like obviously figuring out his usage, figuring out these lineups with him and Bojan in the first place, but also I think it's just the comparison between the two right now. I think Bojan just has so many more ways where he can just go and get you a basket in just a consistent basis. Like his
Yes.
bag is just so deep.
Mhm.
And like I know we talk a lot about his shooting. One thing that's really underrated about Bojan Troy, he can drive to the basket and he can
Mhm.
finish through contact.
Yeah, yeah, he has a little bit of athleticism to him and strength. He's a strong guy
Mhm.
too. He can able to back his way up in the post as well, and a pretty underrated passer as well. We've seen him dish it out to guys like Cade, and Sadiq even in the corners as well when he's backing down. So I just feel like he's a guy that we need to be happy about in Detroit. We again, and we haven't even touched on how we got him. Kelly Olynyk and Saban Lee.
And this is a guy that was being touted as being the solution for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we're not going to talk about the Lakers for quite a while on this channel. Bojan Bogdanovic would solve a lot of the problems the Lakers are having right now.
He would. He definitely would. And not just the Lakers, but other teams too. I mean, maybe even the Nets. Miami Heat wouldn't mind Bojan on their team. So
But
there's so
instead,
many
he's in Detroit.
contenders. What'd you say?
But instead, he's in Detroit.
But it's instead he's in Detroit, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
so many teams that would very much love a Bojan on your team, but he's a Piston, and
Yep.
we need to be happy about that. We need to look at him as a piece that the younger guys can grow in, and a piece that is going to help us get a few dubs this year.
Yeah, and again, I think, not to say that he can't be traded in the future, or that
Mhm.
not that it's a possibility for him to be traded at some point in the future, but I also think, Troy, it's important to point out the fact that this is a guy that was traded for, like, just a few weeks ago. Like,
Yeah.
he was brought in. I believe the deal happened a day before. It was what? A day before. It was the Thursday before media day.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
like, the deal was still being finalized on media day, and he came in, like, literally 2 days after media day, and that was
Yeah.
his first
He was in
practice.
Europe when he found out he
Yeah.
got traded. Yeah.
Yeah, and all reports suggested that, like, Bojan, like, wherever he, like, ended up next, all reports suggested that, like, Bojan, like, he did wanna find, like, a long-term deal,
Sure.
and obviously, you don't wanna just say, like, or assume that, like, oh, like, he loves it here, wanna stay here forever, but, like, it does say something that he's only been here a couple weeks,
Hmm.
and it's not even been 10 games yet, and they've agreed on a contract extension.
Hmm.
To
Hmm.
me, that speaks powers both of the fact that I think Bojan recognizes the touches that he can get. I also think he realizes the fact that he has the ability alongside Cade and Ivy to help make some things happen here. And
Hmm.
even like this next season, I feel like, especially with the salary cap and the help that they could be having come in, I think he could play a prominent role in whatever we do over these next couple of years.
For sure, for sure, and he's proven even in a situation like Utah again that he can have a prominent role in a contending team.
Well, yeah, he
So
was so that Utah team when they were like, especially like when they were in like getting towards like the end of the Western Conference playoff run, like this guy was averaging 18 points on a team that was among the top teams in the West.
mhm, mhm.
Like, this is a guy that isn't like just some like, oh, he's only doing this because he's in Detroit. No,
Right,
he's
no,
been doing this his entire career.
mhm.
He's just
Even for
doing
the
it in a
Pacers too,
Pistons
he had a
jersey
good run
now.
for the Pacers as well, um, in their playoff run in the late 2000 teens. So again, it's not just a Utah thing.
Yeah, exactly. And, I obviously over the next couple of years, I know some people, might be concerned about like his age and things like that. But Troy, I think the thing about Bojan, like we talk about how he's like sneaky athletic, a lot of him like getting to the basket and like a lot of like his ability to get like around the court isn't even entirely predicated on his deep like on his athleticism to me. I feel like he's such like a for one, I think he's just such a skillful player that I think like especially like skills like shooting that ages
Mhm,
well.
mhm. Yeah,
Also, he has the type of game where again, it's not predicated on him being this amazing athlete, but rather it's about him being this, intelligent basketball player that, is a high IQ scorer that knows what they need to do on a given game to game basis, right?
right, right, and that's what he is. That's what he's proven to be. And yes, I think that that daily scoring that we know what we're going to get out of him, the consistency, and again his ability to help his other teammates get going as well. I've said what I've had to say about Bojan.
Yeah, he's just special, man. And I think I'm just excited to keep, I'm just grateful he's a guy that I get to watch play on a night to night
Big
basis.
time,
He's
big
just a
time.
fun player to watch. Like I know we've had guys in the past that were like relatively similar in the fact that they were like bigs who could shoot the three or space the floor. Like I
Mhm.
think of like, like Ursan Ilyasova.
Yeah,
No skill from
no.
Ursan Ilyasova could ever match what Bojan could do on a basketball court.
Correct. That's
Yeah.
definitely true. I I
Yeah.
I I would take the latter.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, Troy, I feel really dumb. Did you know that Bojan And did you know that Bojan and Bogan Bogdanovic are not related? I
I
thought they were
did know
brothers.
that. No, no, I always know that they're not related.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I'm just the idiot. Okay, got it. But with that, tell me how I'm dumb in the comment section down below. But also tell me what excites you about Bojan Bogdanovic, what he can do with a Pistons uniform, what he has been so far, and how he helps this team going forward. But with that, folks, we want to thank you so much for tuning in, making From a Half Court one of your homes for content and podcasting. We will catch you guys next time from Half Court. Be sure you subscribe.